How many rules do we give ourselves on a daily basis of, this is how my family sees me, this is how, like, and as an actor, I'm curious if there was a time when you sort of had these unconscious rules that you were going by. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you bring up like a fascinating point. The idea that so much of our lives are arbitrary accumulations of a set of rules that dictate our, first of all, our behavior, and I feel like in a way, in some ways, that's getting worse.
Really?
Yeah, like in the culture, I feel like the tribalism is really happening and the cultural signaling is really happening, where you have to identify with a group, and if you don't identify with that group, or if you cross the party lines of that group, you are seen as a traitor and ousted. And I mean, my whole thing has been inclusion and incorporation of what I would call perversion. I don't mean it sexually, but I mean it in terms of, like, I'm a kid who lives in the East Village, and I came from Westchester County, so I lived a certain definition of a life that was
you
a suburban.
crossed a line.
And I went into the East Village because it was a bunch of freaks who thought differently and were weirdos, and true weirdos. And so I just want people to feel more of that freedom, that their character identities aren't necessarily defined by their emotions or their thoughts. There's something that's intrinsic to the reptilian brain and to the unconscious that is always going to be an uncontrolled animal that's going to feel certain things that are irrational and that are not okay. And whenever we don't allow that to happen, I think it's going to seep out into other ways. Whereas, like, there could be a restructuring of those sort of ideas where we allowed more creativity and more inclusion to these people. But what we do is, and I think as a society we're doing it more and more, is we're excluding people for being weird in all sorts of ways. And so, yeah, for me, I mean, it sort of worked the opposite. Like, I was kind of excluded for a long time, and then I feel like I did this very personal thing where I let go of a lot of the laws that I had for myself, which was that, first of all, that, like, actors have to be, if they're leading men especially, they have to be, like, in shape, and they gotta, like, go to the gym, and they gotta have, like, some abs. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna let go of that because this dude's a drinker, and, like, I'm just gonna let him be, you know, what he is. I'm gonna play this character as opposed to the leading man role I'll get after I'm the lead in the Netflix Stranger Things thing, right? So I just let him be what he was, and I let him be kind of gross, and that was very liberating to actually play, and I actually achieved success as a result of it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I find
I was able to
fascinating.
let go of these laws, and they liberated me.
Right.
And I wonder if it's true for other people as well.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, then why not subscribe? Click right here for lots more off camera. And if you want to see the hour-long version of these conversations, I'm going to give you the secret link. Here it is, offcamera.com. Check it out.